Hello, I'm Beth Joey and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. This is the channel where I paint my face, turn my camera on and talk about some books. It is that time of the month again. I think I start every TBR game video like that. But anyway, it is time to figure out what books I'm going to be reading in November with my Snakes and Ladders TBR game. If you don't know what this is, I essentially play Snakes and Ladders every month in order to figure out my TBR, my sort of own varied version of Snakes and Ladders. I'll link the playlist up above and down below for you to go and check out if you want to see the rules, how this works, how it's changed over the, however long I've been playing it for. I think coming up on a year now. I also just want to give a quick sneak peek to the fact that I'm going to be changing up my TBR game in 2023 to something that I think might be a little bit more fun and chaotic. We will see. So keep an eye out for that going into January. Jumping straight into the game, this is where we ended last time. I've decided to change up my playing piece to a little Vegemite earring thing that I got, which is really cute. So I'm just letting that Aussie flag fly. But yeah, let's roll the dice and see what we get. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is great. We are on yellow. And for yellow, our prompt is a biography or autobiography. 1 minute on the timer. It's time to find a biography or autobiography that I actually want to read, which is going to be really, really difficult because I've kind of read all of the ones that I want to read at the moment. So I've read The Audacity by Katherine Ryan, which is this one here. I don't really think there are anywhere in my shelves that actually sound interesting to me at the moment. So we might be going into a punishment straight off the bat because nothing up here is appealing to me. Sorry, you can probably see like the pile of clothes and things that we're about to just zoom down into. Jeremy Clarkson, I've read that. It's not even really a biography. Yep, it's immediately going to be a punishment because I don't have a biography or an autobiography. So it seems I don't have a single biography or autobiography on my shelves at the moment. So as for the punishment, we're gonna have to add a roll, I think, is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna have to find 6 books now because I don't have like a punishment cup of books that I don't want to read or anything. So it's gonna be 6 rolls because I immediately failed on my first one. This is not starting well. So whilst we had a lovely ladder climb here, I failed my immediate first prompt. So let's roll the dice again and hope for a better result. So dice is here, click roll. 1. Okay, so orange. Orange prompt is down the bottom, read a sequel. Okay, this is a little bit easier. 1 minute timer on the clock. Let's find a sequel of a book that I actually want to read. I'm sure there's one. Oh, I know what I want. Here it is. Ah. Thunderhead by Neal Shusterman. So the first actual book on this TBR is Thunderhead by Neal Shusterman, which is a book that I never actually expected to be reading. Thunderhead is the sequel to Scythe, which is the first book in the Scythedom series by Neal Shusterman, which originally was on my books that are going to self-destruct in 12 months list because I didn't think I'd love it, but I ended up absolutely amazed by how awesome it was. Scythe by Neal Shusterman is set in a world that has essentially defeated death. The people there are able to live forever, and as a result, a Scythedom has been created, which is a group of people that randomly kills off members of the population in a process called gleaning in order to maintain the population number. We follow Citra and Rowan, who are 2 individuals who have both had experiences with a particular scythe named Scythe Faraday, and he then takes them on as his apprentice. In a sort of power struggle situation, because each scythe is only supposed to take on 1 apprentice, Scythe Faraday is forced to tell Citra and Rowan that at the end of their apprenticeship, one of them will be forced to glean the other. And then Scythe Faraday mysteriously goes missing and they are taken on by different scythes, and the way the characters change once their mentor changes and influences them is absolutely fascinating. I love this sort of dystopia utopia society and that whole complex around creating a utopia and how it can turn into a dystopia, and I'm so excited for this second book. Moving up on the board, let's roll again, and we have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are on green. The prompt for green is I identify with a character. Putting the 1 minute timer on the clock, I kind of know what I want to pick, and not so much because I identify with the character, so much as we have similar interests, I guess. So I'm going to pick, where are you? Oh my god, it's not where it's supposed to be. Oh my god, I hate it when that happens. Oh, now I have to find it. Okay, here we go. I'm picking As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. So you may ask why I picked As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson for the prompt relating to identifying with the main character. And for me, this is because I am an absolute addict when it comes to true crime. I love watching true crime documentaries, true crime YouTubers, true crime podcasts, everything like that. I find it really, really interesting. And the main character in this series is equally as obsessed with true crime and solving mysteries. As Good as Dead follows Pippa Fitz-Amobi, who is living in a small town where a murder has taken place a number of years prior, and she believes that the person convicted for this murder, who ultimately committed suicide, is actually innocent. So she teams up with that person's brother in order to find out who really killed Golden Girl Andy Bell, and potentially find out a whole underbelly in Andy Bell's life that has been hidden by her family and the small town in order to villainize this guy Sal Singh that everybody thinks killed her. The rest of the series sort of follows on from there. She picks up other mysteries, and this is the third book in that series where I'm told she becomes the crime, or she becomes the victim. So I'm really, really intrigued, and I'm super, super excited, one, to be finishing a series, and two, to be reading this final book. Okay, next roll, let's find out where we're moving to. 4 again. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. We are on purple. And that is a book with green on the cover. Okay, so let's get a 1 minute timer on the clock. Something that has green on the cover. I'm trying to smash through a bunch of my library books at the moment, so let's see if any of these have green. No, that's kind of all purple. That's blue. Piranesi is blue. Escape Artist is yellow and black. Castles in Their Bones, I've already read you. This is a bit of a struggle because there's no books in here that I actually need to read at the moment that have green on the cover. I mean, I kind of want to read something wilder. So yeah, let's pop that on the TBR and pretend it's summer over Christmas. Lol, it took me so long to realize that that actually doesn't have green on the cover. So putting that down, book lovers, no green. You know what? The Toll. We're gonna go with The Toll. So we've picked The Toll, which has plenty of green on the cover. This is the third book and I think the final book in the Scythe series by Neil Shusterman. So that's gonna be book number 3. I'm not gonna go through what it's about because I've already told you when I picked Thunderhead. So this is book number 3. I'm actually genuinely excited by the fact that I might get a £10 Waterstones voucher out of this because I'm so near the finish line. I've got like 2 rows to go. But anyway, let's pop into the dice thing and roll again. This is roll number 4. Okay, we're only moving 1. Oh, we're there. And blue, that is a romance. Oh, that's perfect. I love romance. Okay, so let's get a 1 minute timer on the clock and find a romance that I feel like reading. You know what? I need to read this book because it is a library book. So we're gonna go with Portrait of a Scotsman by Evie Dunmore. It is a historical romance. Okay, book number 4 on my November TBR is Portrait of a Scotsman by Evie Dunmore. I've partially picked this because it's a library book, so I do need to return it soon, so this might be the first one that I read in November. It's also the third book in the League of Extraordinary Women series. It follows women, I think, in Victorian England who are essentially going against society's rules, society's expectations, and falling in love at the same time. The first book that I read, which I can't remember the name of, Bringing Down the Duke, I really loved because it had these 2 sort of plot lines going on throughout the story of 1, the romance, and then 2, this women's suffragette movement and influencing the, you know, higher men in the court or in the government to support the movement. So I really loved how you had both those plot lines going and both of them really drove the story forward. So I'm really excited to pick up this third one. I'm actually reading the second one, A Rogue of One's Own, at the moment. So fingers crossed I love that. I'll let you guys know once I've finished it. Okay, roll number 5, our second last roll. Let's get the dice up on the phone and find out where we're moving. 2. Okay, so I'm definitely not going to get to the end of this. We have yellow, and it is going to be alliteration in the name. For example, Cassandra Clare. So an author who has the first and last name starting with the same letter. Oh, this is gonna be hard. Lexi Bryan, Vanessa, no. Sue and Tan, no. Bridget Kemmerer. Okay, I'm really struggling here. V.E. Schwab, no. Lauren Asher, Raven Kennedy, Beth O'Leary, Ellie. My God, why do I have Agatha Christie? No. Why do I have no books with like alliteration in the author's name or repetition in the author's name? Sarah Penner, Sarah Pierce. If only I could just pick those two and say, yep, that's fine. No. Book lovers, no. Christina Lauren, Holly Black. Wow, why is this so hard? I really don't want to end up with 7 books. Please. Oh, Rebecca Ross, I found you. Haha, River Enchanted, Rebecca Ross. That's what we're reading. This was way more of a struggle than I thought it would be, but I did end up finding A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross, which is a bit bigger than what I was kind of hoping for, especially on a month where I've got 6 books on my TBR. And it also means that now when I do my Fairy Loot Illumicrate book box battle that I do, this has to be the Illumicrate book, and I just have to now draw the other Fairy Loot book. As for River Enchanted and what it's about, I have no idea. So I'm gonna read you the blurb, which says, enchantments run deep on the magical Isle of Cadence. The capricious spirits that live there find mirth in the lives of the humans who call the land home. But that mischief turns to malevolence as girls begin to go missing. A lot of big words here. Adara, heiress of the East, knows the spirits only answer to a bard's music, enticing them to return the missing girls. But there's only one bard capable of drawing the spirits forth by song, her childhood enemy, Jack Tamerlane. He hasn't stepped foot on Cadence in 10 long years, content to study music at the mainland university. But as Jack and Adara reluctantly work together, it becomes apparent the trouble with the spirits is far more sinister than first thought, and an older, darker secret lurks beneath the surface, threatening to undo them all. I'm hoping this is a fantasy romance, bit of an enemies to lover, second chance romance maybe sort of situation. Fingers crossed. And we are on our last roll. I'm definitely not getting a Waterstones voucher this time around, so let's roll 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank God, that was so close. We are on green, which is, oh God, a book where the siblings are the focal characters. There are siblings in this, okay. 1 minute timer on the clock. I can't think of any books off the top of my head other than one that I've just read called Castles and Their Bones, where siblings are the main characters. Because you kind of have to know a bit about the book to know if the main characters are siblings, and I don't know anything about most of the books that are on my TBR. I guess there are siblings in The Wicked King that kind of play a main character-like role, but I wouldn't say they are sort of like the focal point. Oh, book lovers. Actually, I'm pretty sure the main love interest girl is going on holiday with her sister in this, so let's hope for the best. So book number 6 is Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and I believe the main female character in this book is going to the small town with her sister to prevent another dating dud, so she goes for a holiday in Sunshine Falls, and that's where this whole romance takes place. So I would count that as siblings being the main focal characters. As for what Book Lovers more generally is about, it's the latest release from Emily Henry, and it's a bit of a enemies to lovers romance. It centers around Nora, who is a cutthroat literary agent, and then Charlie is our hero, and he's an editor, but he's also Nora's work nemesis, and she bumps into him in this small town in Sunshine Falls when she's attempting to just go on a fun holiday with her sister and recover from all the dating duds that she's experienced. And you know, she wants to meet bartenders and lumberjacks and all these sorts of things, but she keeps bumping into Charlie. When I did a read one chapter thing for this book, it definitely played on like a lot of romance tropes, and it really like made fun of them in that first chapter, and I'm really excited for that. So hopefully I'm gonna love this book. So these are the 6 books that I'm going to be reading in November. It's a fairly chunky stack. There's definitely no like short books in here, but you know, we've got sort of fantasy romance, murder mystery, dystopian, historical romance, and contemporary romance. So definitely leaning towards romance, which is what I like to see in my TBRs. But that is the end of this TBR game. Do let me know in the comments down below if you play one of your own and what's on your TBR for November. I'd love to know, and I love talking to you guys, so please do come and chat to me down in the comments. I do my best to reply to every single comment. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do let me know by liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell all down below. It is a super easy way to help my channel grow, and I will see you lovely people in my next video. Bye!